Hey everyone, Crash here, this is RTA Motorsports. Today we're going to be unboxing and taking a first look at the Derek Spears Designs dashboard for our AccuForce wheelbase. Here we go.
Welcome to RTA Motorsports.
Before we jump into that, I just want to let you all know this is going to be an exciting few weeks coming up. We got super lucky and just got our hands on an RTX 3090. I'm going to be doing full benchmarks of all of our sim titles that we normally use. If you guys have any recommendations or any questions, leave them in the comment box below. I'm going to be getting that GPU in just a few days, and I'll be able to hopefully incorporate what you want to see in the tests. Stay tuned for that video. Also, we got official word that the HP Reverb G2 is going to be shipping out next month. So we've tested almost every single VR headset that has been out there for the most part, not all, but most. And so you could expect the through the lens shots that we normally do, as well as my full review. And speaking of VR, we got the Oculus Quest 2. You know, I'm a Quest fanboy, coming in just a few weeks. And that Oculus Quest 2, we're going to pair with the PC with the Oculus Link and do the same thing. Stay tuned for all of that. Again, subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. All right, so let's jump in the box and let's see how this thing looks. Have not opened the box yet. Still sealed. It's very hard to resist. All right, so everything seems to be packaged real well. Let's take a look here. So we got some, looks like cap head nuts. And everything is wrapped in bubble wrap. And we got some mounting hardware here. They do not mess around when it comes to wrapping up their button boxes, I can tell you. Oh. There it is. There's the first half. Obviously, this is going to be the right side. And I'm going to be using that probably as for iRacing to go in and out of the simulator. Would also make a nice ignition button. Nice one-way toggles. These are two-way. And then we got the rotary encoders there. Those feel pretty good too. Nice push buttons. It'd be nice to be able to, on the fly, change our brake bias with these rotary encoders. Everything feels really, really sturdy. All right, let's get the other side opened up. All right, and there is the other side. Again, a lot of rotary encoders on top. Beautiful push buttons and two-way toggles all the way down. Beautiful carbon fiber look finish on there. It's clearly not real carbon fiber, obviously for the price point, but it does the job. It is gorgeous. This mounting plate here that's a really cool honeycomb design, and you got his symbol right there in the middle. Everything looks super clean. The back of the box doesn't look, you know, cut up or anything like that. Looks like there was a lot of time taken to make sure it's a clean finished product. Two USB ports, one on each side. So I'm gonna have to get some cables to get that all mounted up. Would be nice if they had some sort of cable that just went from one to the other to piggyback one off the other, and then one USB going to your computer. There might be a way to do that, but as far as what I could see here, we didn't get a USB cable in the box with these. So actually I have a few of these types of cables lying around. So we'll get this mounted up and we'll get going. And I'll give you my first impressions when we're in the rig. All right, so we have the rotary encoders put together, and this is the final product. This is the Derek Spears Designs AccuForce panels, just the way it is. I didn't ask for anything custom or anything like that. And I'm just floored. It looks absolutely gorgeous. The beautiful thing about it is now I have all these rotary encoders that I could set to, like, let's just say volume trim. Being that, you know, we sim race and stream at the same time, I could set these to anything I want to, even probably within the controls of Streamlabs OBS, which is a beautiful thing. So I could set this to volume trim for my mic, the game title itself, headphone volume, brake bias, everything, and then controls within the cars. And the beautiful thing about it is you have a little bit of room there. I plan on getting a label maker so that way I can make some labels for each of these buttons, so that way my controls are continuous from one title to another. We have these beautiful like ignition start button there, starter, fuel. Oh man, I am just floored, and I am so glad that it works with my handbrake being right here and is not completely within the way. I still have that compact setup that I wanted. Let's get the wheel on. Let's see what this looks like. Actually, first they have the pass-through here. And there we go. So it's not in the way of the paddles at all. I can see both edges of the AccuForce panels, their Experience Designs panels here. None of the buttons are hidden behind the wheel. They come just to the edges of the wheel here, and it's absolutely perfect. Let me get my GT3 wheel on. I think that one's just a little bit wider, just a hair. I could still manage to get that on and off. Oh yeah, we're still perfectly fine. This one, you have a little bit more room, being that this is a converted wheel, and I could still see everything I need to see. It is not going to be in the way at all. Oh, this is absolutely perfect. All right, so let's get in the car and let's check this out. All right, everyone, so we're inside the rig. We have everything buttoned up, everything set up here, and I just binded a few random controls to the different buttons. I may change that. Don't judge me based on their assignments, but I think these are some of the controls I've always wanted to bind to a button box, but never had the access to the amount of buttons necessary. A lot of buttons on this wheel here that you can see, but I can't do everything, and that's where this comes in. So now you finally have access to getting in and out of the car. Bright red backlit button, very easy to see. You can just bash on it really fast, as well as we have ignition. Oh, and starter. Apparently, if you don't hold it till the car starts, it doesn't start up. That's awesome. Some of the other random, very helpful controls. We have our black box adjustment there with this rotary encoder to the right, so I can just quickly get to where I need to go. And each step of that rotary encoder, it's very easy to feel that I'm changing each and every one of them. Very, very helpful. And let's go to, let's see, this one here. So you can see brake bias adjustment. Now I have that set to a rotary encoder. I'm not reaching for my mouse, trying to click on things while I'm controlling the car. I could just quickly twist and get on. I could feel each step. I'm not going all over the screen with the mouse, which is not safe when you're on track. I do have some replies and some messages to other drivers. Pass left, pass right, sorry, thanks, pitting in, pitting out. A very important one that I never was able to bind. Never really had the controls to do so. I am still binding some controls on the wheel here, like for instance, the pit speed limiter. I have a beautiful button there for it, and I'm going to use it. But, you know, other things like, for instance, quick access to pit commands. That's right front, right rear tire replacement. I now have access to them because I have enough buttons to do so. So you can see also down here, we did have the brake pressure bias, but we also were able to bind our traction control 2, engine map. We have all that binded now, which is something I was never able to do before. We do have the motion rig going, so you're going to notice the dash is going to move a little bit. We'll kind of get a feel for how much it's moving. So this is the Corvette C8 in iRacing at Brands Hatch. Dial in a little bit more brake bias. I love having the controls right there. Just feels so natural. We also have some height adjustment controls. I was able to bind some pitch. There we go. We'll lower that traction control all the way down. Oh, I feel the rear end stepping out. Oh, hitting it. There we go. I got to get used to what controls I put where. And get all the tires changed. Why not? And let's get out of the car. And it's that easy. Now I have everything completely at my fingertips. Very easy to get to. I could just I can't believe I waited so long to order this, to be honest with you. All right, before we go into my final thoughts on my Derek Spear designed button box from my AccuForce wheelbase, some things I just want to get out of the way real quick. Number one, we didn't receive this item free, didn't receive it sponsored, didn't receive it at a discount cost. Just went on their website, purchased it just as any of you all can do. So my experience, and I'm going to let you all know, is of that of a normal consumer. So just take that for what it is. Just wanted to let you all know. Number two, my button box is very similar, if not the same, as many of the other button boxes that they sell for the other wheelbases. So this video could be relevant if you have a Podium Direct Drive wheel, if you have a CSL Elite, a CSW, or an OSW. He sells these button boxes for any of those wheelbases. The only difference is going to be is the mounting solution, maybe the length of the acrylic, or the different shape of it. But the button box themselves are the same, and they also sell conversion frames. If I went from an OSW to an AccuForce, I could buy a conversion frame, take my button boxes out of that mounting solution, put it in the conversion frame, get it mounted to some other wheelbase. So just this video could be relevant if you're considering these button boxes for any of those as well. Now, my final thoughts on this button box. Well, I just want to say it's absolutely astounding that I went this long without ever having anything mounted to my wheel before. I've had a CSW, I've had my AccuForce for a while now. I've always wanted these button boxes. I don't know what took me so long. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten to an accident because I'm reaching for my mouse on my desk with my motion rig moving to page through a black box, so that way I could get to my brake bias adjustment, or I could get to my pit adjustment window, only to find myself going off the track, spinning in the grass into the wall. It's happened so many times. Now I actually have physical buttons and rotary encoders to do those functions for me. And they're mounted to my wheelbase. They're easy to reach. It moves with my rig, so that way I'm not reaching on a solid desk from a motion rig trying to get my mouse and try to find my mouse on the screen. It's so easy now, so intuitive to use. It's invaluable. If you take your sim racing seriously, as we do, take your iRacing career seriously, and I know most people take it much more serious than I do gotta say, just having buttons, rotary encoders, switches to do many of the different functions, it's completely convenient. It's gonna help you stay consistent. And I do look to get some sort of like label creator, so that way I can make labels for everything and then carry these same controls from one title to the other, so that way I always know by feel that this button, this switch, what this rotary encoder is always this function no matter what title I'm in. That's only going to make me a lot more consistent. I just noticed for that little bit of driving that we did, being able to page through my black box adjustment was worlds of a difference different than trying to find my mouse on my desk, or sometimes it even falls on the floor. So that way I could frantically try to find my mouse on the screen and then hit these little arrows that are next to it. Never again do I ever have to do that. Also, being able to adjust any of the in-car settings, like I was saying, brake bias adjustment, traction control, being able to do, or turn on my, just as simple as turning on my headlights. Now I'm going to have a physical control that's always on there. It's going to be amazing. Now, I do know a lot of you are probably thinking, don't you have buttons on your wheels? Yes, I see buttons back there. There's not enough buttons to really be able to do everything that you can do in a lot of these cars. In iRacing, any car, any in-car adjustment can be mapped to a button. And now I have enough buttons to actually do it. But not only that, you also have very important replies and things to other drivers to let them know you're pitting in, pitting out, pass left, pass right. I do a lot of multi-class racing, so I always have to bind some sort of control to let other drivers know whether to pass left or pass right, especially if they're in the faster class car, which takes up buttons on my wheels. And being that I don't have enough buttons on my wheels to actually do everything that I want to do, it always seemed like my button assignments always changed, and I never remembered what button did what, because this race I need this control, this race I need this control. So I was constantly changing my button assignments on my wheels to accommodate that session, and I never knew what button was which. I never purchased a label creator, but if I did, there would be glue residue all over the place because I would be changing it all the time. Now I have enough buttons where everything can stay where it is. I can have one assignment and it's never going to change. And that's absolutely amazing. The button box, the mounting solution itself, it's nice and compact. And that was one thing I really like about my rig. It's really, really compact, but it's not too compact where I feel like I'm squished or I can't get to certain controls. Everything just feels really close within arm's reach. And I think, I'm 6 feet tall. I think people of various sizes, this is going to accommodate them perfectly. And I think the fitment of it on the AccuForce wheel, with both the AccuForce Pro steering wheel as well as my Fanatec GT3 wheel, it's perfect for both. So I'm sure no matter what type of wheel you have, it's going to feel just fine regardless. But let's go into the cons. I know I sound like I'm a glaring fanboy, but let's go into the cons because there are some. Number one, again, the mounting solution. It is acrylic. That's going to introduce some flex within the system. It's just inherent. It's plastic. It does flex. There's no like metal backing or anything like that. They do offer a metal conversion frame that I'm sure you could use that would eliminate all flex within the system. But being that it says it's out of stock and it ships only with the acrylic, you do got to understand there's going to be a little bit of flex in there. Now for me, pushing the buttons, all of them, I was able to still press them. I was still able to activate the switches or rotary encoders without any issue, without it moving at all. Just flex. There's just some flex in there. With my rig going, with the motion rig going, I did notice that it did shake just a little bit, just a hair. It wasn't enough to distract me or anything like that. But I do know there are some of you consumers out there that want everything completely hard mounted to metal, can't move, no shaking at all. For you consumers, I would definitely say if you're interested in something like this, just contact them directly. I'm sure, being that they sell the metal conversion frames, it is sold out, but I'm sure they would be able to accommodate something, maybe a little bit of a longer wait, but you know, it is what it is at that point. For me, I feel it's completely acceptable because I expected it, being that it's made of acrylic, and number two, I don't feel that it flexes enough really to ever cause an issue. But if I ever do have an issue, I'll report it to you all. You all will be made aware of the whole situation. And the other con is we didn't get any USB cables in the box, which was a little weird. It's the USB-A to USB-B cable. I kind of wish there was some way to maybe link them both together so that way you only have one cable going to your computer. But I was lucky enough that I always keep USB cables on hand, and I had two of those around. For someone, if you're unboxing it late at night, you just got home from work and you don't want to go out to the store, you just want to get it connected and going, it would be a little upsetting to see that there's no USB cables in the box. I don't know if it's supposed to come with them, but I didn't have any. So, and nor did I know that I wasn't going to have any to prepare for it. So that might be something you might want to keep in mind. But on the customer service side of it, we ordered this back in, I want to say maybe 2 months ago. And I knew at that time that the next shipping date was going to be September 15th. We knew that for a fact. It was on their website. They reported it to us that they were going to try to have them ship out on or before September 15th. When September 15th was coming up, we got a, I didn't get a shipping, I didn't get a tracking number yet, so I contacted them. They told me they're still aiming for September 15th. I'm going to be excited. Just, try to hold out, be patient. So I did. When September 15th came, got a tracking number. On the week following, we didn't see at all that it shipped out. So I contacted Derek Spear Designs, and I was very pleased to see just how transparent they are over there. They sent me their DHL tracking number for one last item that they were waiting for before they could actually ship them out. And he basically told me all throughout the way, just, this is what's going on. This is what we're waiting for. It's being held up at customs. Once it's in the country, and once we get our hands on it, it's going to ship immediately. That level of transparency, he didn't have to, or they didn't have to do at all. But it's that level of transparency, especially, knowing that I'm just a normal consumer. They didn't know I was going to make a video on this. They didn't know I was going to be reporting on this. They're not looking for that, good job type deal. They were just reporting to a normal, or what they thought was a normal consumer. That level of transparency, letting me know exactly what's going on and then showing me proof, which they didn't have to do, was awesome. And now I see why there's so many consumers, so many people that are fans of Derek Spear Designs products, because seeing that is only going to make me more confident to purchase from them in the future, knowing that I'm going to get taken care of, knowing that they have my best interests in mind. So I do got to say that was awesome. That level of customer service was unexpected. That level of transparency was especially unexpected. So I do appreciate that. I do recommend these button boxes. I do recommend their products now, knowing just, their level of customer service. I'm sure they're going to take care of you no matter, what needs to be done. If you have purchased Derek Spear Design products in the past, leave a comment box below what your experience has been with their products. I'm so far very impressed. And yeah, if there's any sort of issues in the future that I have with these button boxes, of course, I'm going to let you all know. So again, I'm Crash, this is RTA Motorsports. Hopefully you found this video informative. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Definitely consider subscribing. Of course, leave the comment below. Just leave them. Just write whatever. Write whatever down there. and please hit that like button. We do have the HP Reverb G2 again coming in very soon. We have the 3090. It's going to be here any day now. I am super excited. That launch was a mess, but we'll go over that when that actually happens. And then we're going to get the Oculus Quest 2 in
very shortly, and I'm going to be putting it through the tests as we have done with many other VR headsets. Even on the PC, I kind of want to see how it is for sim racing. Everyone, you have a great day. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Be happy. We'll see you all next time.